What's up, party people? How's everybody doing today? So we have it's lunchtime, the Alpo Martinez murder trial, and so we're out here. I want to tell y'all what happened in the opening statements real quick. So obviously I got everything written down in my book, but I'm going to tell you what I can tell you from memory until we get back to the area over here, and then we'll go over what I actually wrote down. But I will say this. This is something I found extremely interesting. So the prosecution is asserting that is basically saying that there was a second party involved. They're saying that the accused, Shaquem Parker, has a brother. I believe his name is Danny Parker. And they're saying that he actually was involved in the situation. And there's already been a police officer that took the stand. Took the stand and actually gave testimony on the brother already. So if we're to go by what the prosecution is saying, obviously we don't know what's what at this moment. But if we are to go by what the prosecution is saying, and I'll get to that in 2 seconds, they're basically saying that Shaquem Parker, that's the man that's on trial right now, had an accomplice with whom was his brother, an individual by the name of Danny, and they basically spotted Alpo, surveyed the scene, and then Shaquem allegedly, all this is allegations obviously, Shaquem allegedly moved in and committed the act. All of this is allegedly, obviously. This is to be determined still. These are the assertions, the accusations of the prosecution currently. But I also want to say something else that I found pretty interesting. So before we break for lunch, after they, removed the jury, we broke for lunch, they removed the jury, and I found something that was very interesting. So basically, there is some evidence that there is kind of iffy to get in this video evidence, and it's the evidence of the police body cams of the work that they did in order to try to keep Alpo alive, the CPR and things and such. And the defense team wants some of that pulled. So at first I was like, this don't make any sense. And then I remembered something, and it was right before the judge said it. The judge said it, but I remembered it because I'm going over my own memory. I'm like, why would they not want, what the hell are they talking about? But part of what the prosecution, I'm going to talk lower now just in case there's jurors around. But part of what the defense is trying to say is that the police didn't look for any other, anyone else. That the police just decided that this was the individual that they wanted to prosecute. And so therefore the police didn't do their due diligence. So there's parts of this particular, there's parts that they want removed, the defense of the video. And to be perfectly honest with you, at first I thought it didn't make sense. But now, if you want to understand their strategy, they at some point or another want to make it obvious, or they want to make it seem like it was obvious, that the only reason why their client was arrested was because the police didn't do their due diligence looking for anyone else. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened. We're not getting into that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to find a spot for me to sit down real quick and bust my book out so I can tell y'all some of the things that's in there. Court is about to start right back up in a moment, so I'm going to need a second. I went and bought a coffee. I had a lunch. Shout out to everybody that sent lunch money. You guys are the best. I know I'm not calling names. I don't want nobody to be harassed. I don't want no people being harassed. Y'all crazy that is? Motherfucker be harassing you because you spend money on something you like. People are weirdos. I was looking for a table, preferably, but I can't see none. There is no table, so now I'm just trying to get away from the kids smoking. There's no open table. I'm just trying to get away from the kids smoking. All right, so I'm about to, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm not sitting around any of the jurors. Today was the first. They did open the statements and everything today, so everything started today. Just so we can be clear, everything started today. All right, so here we go. Hold on, I'm gonna bust out my mic real quick. Give me 1 second, everybody. So I don't have to yell once again. Okay, so today was opening statements. So this means that today was the day that the jury met, or the jury was first listening to any evidence. So all the pre-trial stuff, we weren't there for anything that was pre-trial. And I take notes crazy because I take down a lot of stuff that I don't even tell y'all. It's just for me to make sure that I'm in the right space. You know, if I ever want to come back to this at a different time when I don't remember any of this stuff. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing I want to say is the judge enters the courtroom. It's about 10:37. I'm gonna fast forward it. So basically, they talked about the body cam that I just talked to y'all a minute ago. And there's excerpts that they want to remove from the body cam. They talked about this a little bit later too, but I'll tell you everything right now because we were just talking about it 2 seconds ago. There's parts of the body cam that they want to have removed. And the reason why why the defense wants to have it removed, because they don't believe that it actually gives any weight or any evidence to what had happened. The judge agreed that some of it, but the judge also agreed that so much more of it is relevant than not relevant that they're not sure how they're going to do it. So the judge is basically saying it doesn't make sense to remove a minute, a second here, 5 seconds here, and then 5 seconds there, and then you go another 30 seconds, and then it's just too much to do. And that's what basically he was saying. He was trying to give, in my view, the prosecution an out if the prosecution just wanted to say, look, we can't do it perfect. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking for them to do it perfect, then you're looking for there to be room for there to be an appeal or an ability for an appeal. Or an ability for an appeal. With that being said, judge says defense didn't raise any objections when they talked about whatever, yada, yada, keep going, right? So the first witness they brought out, I'll go right to the opening statements real quick. So the prosecution's opening statements first was that on October 31st, remember this happened the night of October 31st, October 30th, morning of October 31st, I believe that when this happened, they said Shaquem Parker assassinated Alpo Martinez. Remember, this is what the prosecution is saying. This is not anything that's already been determined. This is just what the opening statements is going on. There was an objection. They called Alpo a big drug dealer. Committed terrible crimes. And they said it was fascinatingly interesting and sad. And there was an objection. But I think that the judge just was like, he didn't uphold it. He was just like, get out of here, or whatever the case is. So then they keep on going. They said that basically on October 30th to 31st on 149th Street, Adam Payne Crowd, they saying that Shaquem Parker was with his brother, who I told you his name is Danny. They said that Alpo actually pulled up about 3 blocks away from that location. So when they found out that Alpo was at this location, after a short time, they actually went and walked down to the location. It was about 2:40 a.m. They walked down to 151st, where Alpo was parked. Alpo was in the crosswalk talking to people. They walked past a couple of times, and then they doubled back. And basically, they basically were surveying the scene, it looked like, and waiting for their opportunity. At least that's what the prosecution wants you to believe. If you believe any of this, obviously this is just what the prosecution is saying. We don't know what actually happened. But also, I want to add, the prosecution did say that they had video evidence. The prosecution said that they had video evidence. And I want to say something else, more to what we are always talking about over here. The prosecution, the police can track you guys. Like when y'all commit a crime, wherever you commit the crime at, there's video cameras everywhere. All they need to know is what you were wearing. And if you're wearing anything distinctive, it's not even difficult for them to be able to track not only where you went after the crime, but they could just look through video of before the crime happened and track where you came from. So this is why it absolutely, and I'm not saying that this is what happened in this case. This is something that the prosecution has alluded to, how they ascertained, how they acquired the individual that they believe is guilty of the crime. This is how they say that they did it. Just so we can clear, they're saying that the gentleman was wearing distinctive clothing on the night that this happened. Basically said that he was wearing something that was bright and yellow, also bright yellow sneakers, and he had something else that was extremely distinctive. So after the crime actually happened, they're saying that they actually were able to track him from the crime all the way back up to the Bronx, where he laid down his head, and they assumed that he lived at. And then they alluded to that they actually went before then and tracked him all the way up into when he went to a bodega, a store, a deli that was in the area where he was talking to people. So they can track you guys. I got to talk low because I see people that's actually are jurors. And one literally just came and sat next to me. Sheesh, fam. Well, not next to me, but if I talk low like this, you can't hear it. And there go another juror. So I'm going to talk a little bit low. So this is what they're saying. We don't know any of this stuff to be true. We don't know any of this stuff to be true. I'm going to get up and walk because I do have journalistic integrity. So I'm going to get up and walk because I don't want to become a part of the trial in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to walk a little. Yes, it is. That's one of the main reasons why I make sure that I always know. I make sure that I look at the jurors, so I never fuck up. Or I try not to fuck up. It is what it is. In any regard, I gotta get rid of this coffee. Yeah, because we're not doing that. She came there. She sat next to where I was. I'm not trying to get nobody screwed over, and I'm not trying to get nobody locked up. We are not on that type of time. Anyway, with that being said, so basically, they said that homeboy basically walked around and they surveyed the scene, and then at some point or another, and remember, the prosecution also said in their opening, the prosecution also alluded that they tracked them from the incident and then to the incident. So I'm not saying that the dude did it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that allegedly they're going to show proof that they tracked them. Allegedly they're going to show proof. They said this in the opening statement, so it is what it is. They said that basically what you're going to see when they show the evidence is that you're going to see them circling Alpo's vehicle. There was an objection. It was overruled because they called the brother a lookout. So when they called the brother a lookout, there was an objection. I'm writing out all objections from now on, so I can tell y'all when there was an objection, so y'all can understand what each side is doing. So there was an objection. It was overruled. They said that basically that the brothers were contacting one another during this time where they was basically surveying the scene, looking back and forth with Alpo. They was using their cell phones.
Now, the cell phones are also allegedly going to be brought into this because remember I told you one of the brothers, Danny, was arrested on a different charge, something that has to do with something else completely. And at one point or another, they actually went through these guys' cell phones, both of their cell phones, and they was able to acquire information that helped them with this particular case. I guess we're gonna find out what that information is at a later date specifically. Also, I just probably just don't want to tell you what we already heard in regards to this because we don't know what's going to be testified to. Because remember, they say a lot of shit, but we don't know what's actually going to get over in court. You don't know what's actually going to win. You really don't ever know. In any regard, they said the defendant's brother positioned himself to see the victim, and then basically, as he was positioned himself in a way where he could look down the block and see the truck, and also while he looked down that same block, he was able to see his brother on the other side. Then he allegedly gave his brother the go ahead to go through it, whatever. And at that point, he turns his phone off. And then right after it happens, he turns his phone right back on. So, I mean, I know I think turning the phone on and off happens. It happens to me all the time, right? Sometimes I just need to reset the page. I mean, I'm just saying. But if you're turning your phone off for the concealment of a crime and you're committing the crime and then you're turning your phone off and then 2 seconds later you're turning it right back on right after the crime is over, that kind of is more evidence against you than for you. But I'm not saying that that's what happened in this particular case, just to be clear on that. They said that Danny gives the okay. At that point, at that time, allegedly, Danny gave the okay. Allegedly, Danny gave the okay. At that time, they're saying that dude ran up to the car, the individual that's on trial right now, Shakim, ran up to the car, started firing into the driver's side car. When he started firing into the driver's side of the car, that's when this dude drove off and pulled off and started and drove a couple of blocks to wherever they was going. And he also ran into some vehicles and all. That's when the accident happened when he drove off. So it wasn't a high-speed chase. It was just basically he got shot, and as he got shot, then he drove off in a straight line down 8th Avenue. They said the cause of death was gunshots. They said that the police tried to save him. They did the best that they can. He ended up dying when they took him to the hospital. Alpo ended up passing away in the hospital. They said that the police did all of the life-saving measures. That's what I spoke with y'all about a moment ago. And I'm going to say this much also. I can't speak for police officers in other cities, but I do believe that the police officers in New York City, when they got to do CPR and shit like that to you, they're trying to keep you alive. I do believe that. I can't speak about what the hell was going on in no other cities. I never even visited Chicago, so I can't even tell you what the fuck is going on over there. But I can't speak for every city. But I can say in New York City, I do 100% believe that if something happens to you and you are in some kind of distress and the police pull up on you, I do believe without a shadow of a doubt they're going to do everything they can in order to save your life. I do believe that. If not for any other reason, then they'll get a promotion. So I do believe that. That's what we can say. Anyway, this was the 32nd precinct for anybody that wanted to know. It went down as a homicide shooting. They have a special unit. It's called the Homicide and Shooting Enhancement Unit. They're trained to investigate video evidence. Remember the video evidence thing I was just telling you about? So there's a special unit that the NYPD has. There's a special unit that the NYPD has. And their job basically is to track people through the video surveillance. Like I told you, that's literally what their job is. And they do that, and they use this particular unit when it deals with a homicide or a shooting. So if you're doing shootings and you're doing homicides in New York City, expect to be tracked through all of the freaking video surveillance that we have up. And I just want to remind you about another thing for everybody that don't get it. They have that situation with the bodegas now, where the bodegas have just signed on to be able to allow for the police to basically create a database in order to be able to prevent people from stealing out of their stores and or shit like that. So every store, fam, Every storefront has a camera. Every store, every building damn near has a camera. So they have a special unit, and that unit's sole purpose is to track people. Did y'all know about that? I'm pretty sure you didn't until I just told you. I'm pretty sure you didn't until I just told you. All right? Oh, sheesh. Fam. I wish women flirted with me as hard as these dudes, because I'm straight as shit. But these dudes be flirting hard as fuck. Why don't the women flirt this hard? I don't get it. Is it just because dudes is just we dudes? Sheesh. Anyway, this anyway, so they have a special. Oh shit! What time is it? Okay, we got a couple more minutes. So they have a special squad. It's called the Homicide Shooting and Enhancement Unit, and they're trained to investigate the video evidence. So it's literally like all they do. So you guys that's out here committing all of these crimes that involve homicide and involve shooting, know that there's a whole entire unit that their own sole purpose is to look through the video evidence in the area, find the suspect, and then track the suspect from where they came from and to where that they're going. Just so y'all know. So once again, stop killing people, fam. It's just that simple. Stop killing people. Stop shooting people. I get it. There's a lot of weirdos out here. Stop enabling the weirdos, and then you'll be shooting and killing less people. This has nothing to do with the trial. This is just me talking. What up, AP? What up, Shopper? Yeah, stop enabling the weirdos. When you see weirdos come around and starting rumors about people and all this other stupid shit, stop enabling those guys. Because those are the people that's creating the situations a lot of times when niggas is getting shot and people getting shot. It be the weirdos. Stop enabling the weirdos. The weirdos is doing shit that's gonna make your homeboy go to jail over nothing. Stop enabling the weirdos, man. Let the weirdos go about their business. Stop enabling the weirdos. So I got to get back up to the courtroom. Any questions at all? Any questions at all? I got to get back up to the courtroom. But that's basically what I got right now. Opening statements. I got a breakdown. I give you the entire breakdown later. What up, Juno? What up, Washable Marker? What up, AP? I give y'all, everybody hit that like button, fam. I give y'all the entire breakdown later, but that's basically the crux of what the defendant is up against. Allegedly, sheesh. Allegedly, they have video evidence of him allegedly committing the crime, allegedly leaving the crime, and they also allegedly got video evidence of him going to the crime. We don't know any of this to be true. We just know that that's what they're alleging. Whatever video they have, they can't have the wrong person on the video. They have to first ascertain whether that's the appropriate individual. There's a lot going on. You don't never know what's going on, right? So boom, there you go. Any questions y'all guys got, put it in the chat real quick. I got a couple more minutes and I got to run in the building so I can make sure that I don't miss anything. But no, it was definitely an eventful day. They said a lot of stuff that I did not know, and they haven't actually given in court. I haven't heard them give a reason. Like, I haven't heard any motive. So that's one of the main things that these dudes do have to do, motive, right? I haven't heard any motive. So right now, they just saying a thing happened. I didn't hear a motive. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. So we're going to find out. I had to get up and leave where I was standing at because it was jurors over there. It was jurors over there. So we're not doing that, fam. I remember when we was covering the other trial, they had these two jurists that kept trying to get into a conversation with me. Like, yes, me in Manhattan. They had these two jurists. They kept like saying what's up to me. I was just like, yeah, just nodding and shit. Shout out to them, but we're not doing that, fam. We're not trying to get nobody exonerated. We're not trying to get nobody hooked up. We're not trying to do nothing. All we're trying to do is report on what happened in the courtroom. That's it. All right, we're going to walk this way. Yo, look, I love y'all. Be back later. I have a thing I got to do with T-Moto later, but I'm definitely going to try to at least give y'all an hour at some point or another. And that's another reason why we want to get off the phone now, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to charge the battery. So we need to keep the battery charged up for later. But I promise you, when we do the show later, it's going to be extremely way more interesting than what we just said. Even though I think what we just said was interesting. I love y'all. Everybody go out there, go do something worth doing. Stamp God's name on it. Remember, we always coming in the power of God, and we want everybody to know how much we love God, and we do that by doing God's will. I'm out.